Malaysia is a sprawling country of about 30 million people in Southeast Asia. It's kind of spread out on this archipelago. It is a hyper-diverse country. Their cuisine is a reflection of the diversity of the people. And it draws influences from all those different cultures. And then some of the imperialist colonial influences in the area as well. The Dutch, the British, the Portuguese, it all has sort of combined to create what we now know as Malaysian cuisine. Now, what are some of the flavors you're gonna expect? A lot of chili, a lot of coconut, a lot of sambal, which is chopped up chilies, and a lot of belacan, which is this dried shrimp paste, rice, noodles, a lot of this sort of lighter, sweeter soy sauce that is particular to Malaysia, as well as from the Indian influence, a roti style flatbread. The place we're headed to right now, Kedai Makan, it started as a pop-up and it has since moved into a proper brick and mortar restaurant. It is in the Capitol Hill neighborhood of Seattle. I've heard that the food is outstanding. We're headed there now and I can't wait to try it. This is your place.
This is my place.
Tell me about Malaysia.
Me and Kevin, who's the chef and owner as well, went to Malaysia and we're really drawn to the melting pot of cultures. Kevin knew that he wanted to cook Southeast Asian food once we went there. So we came back and we started at a farmer's market to kind of test the waters, and it went over really well. We were doing new dishes every week and we kind of got a following that way. From there we did a takeout stand, which was actually right around the corner, for 2 years, and now we're down here full service for the last year.
How did you develop the recipe?
that would all be Kevin, and it's just a matter of eating a lot of food and doing a lot of research. And it's kind of a never-endless variety. I mean, we haven't even really scratched the surface yet of what's out there, so.
Well, I think I'm ready to try some food.
Absolutely.
Why don't we get a little order of net bread, the roti jala.
Okay. You want to do that with lamb curry or lentil curry?
Let's do lamb.
Let's do some lamb.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's have a cucumber salad. Let's have this kerabu timun. I'd like some noodles. Let's do the chili pan mee.
It's a good one.
And then let's do the classic fried rice, the nasi goreng.
Yeah, that sounds great.
What's your
I'm
name?
Nori.
Nori.
Yes.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
Lucas.
So I had the frog legs and the lamb fried rice. Delicious. Yes. The frog legs were really nice. They're nice and juicy and tender. The fried rice is always great. Anything with a fried egg on it, I'm good to go.
Are you in the area?
I was born and raised here. Yeah, so I'm a Washingtonian.
Local.
I try to go to all the different restaurants in Seattle. We're pretty lucky. Seattle has really good restaurants.
This all looks and smells absolutely delicious. Please forgive my pronunciations as I say things, as I am sure I am butchering them. We're gonna start with this very delicious looking kerabu timun nanas. And this is a spicy cucumber salad with pineapple, red onion, peanut, chili flake, and it looks like there's fish sauce in there as well. And my mouth is watering just smelling it and thinking about it. That is really good. Crunchy cucumber, sweet, tart pineapple, go well with the red onion. You have a little bit of spiciness, a good deal of spiciness actually. And then you've got these lovely crunchy peanuts to give it a real nice texture. The whole thing is sort of sitting in this lake of fish sauce, which I love. It is typically made with the fermentation of some kind of fish with sea salt, which gives it a very deep, and this is the first time I believe I've said this word on the show, a very deep umami flavor. And it won't be the last. Umami is, as those of us who've been keeping up with taste bud news now know, officially a 6th kind of taste. What does it mean? It's like a real kind of dank earthiness, and it just kind of gives dimension and depth to a lot of different kinds of foods. This is f***ing good. Why don't we dig in with a little frog leg? And this is just drenched in sambal. What sambal is it's just like mashed up, ground up chilies, to wit. Something else is added, frequently like dried shrimp. but it is a very spicy paste. You can just see it just mounted up on there. Oh yeah, this is really good. It's a little bit like a sweet soy chili. So it's spicy and it's earthy. It has that peanutty goodness. While it is a cliche to say that frog tastes just like chicken, it does. It tastes and looks like it. The meat's juicy. It comes right off of the very, very slender bones. There is a screaming little baby right next to us, if you can hear that. Babies are allowed to scream. I have no problem with that. The fry on these is not too thick, but the flavor is like a light sweet soy with a real like oily chili punch. And you can see I've got like chili oil on my fingers. What this beautiful thing is here is roti jala. Now roti typically just means flatbread. What makes this special is roti jala means net bread. And it is made, some say, in the tradition of a Malaysian fisherman's net. I have a nice bowl of lamb curry that goes along with it. I'm gonna dig in with my hands. Those of you at home, I know I'm not doing this right. So I'm sure someone's gonna have a comment on, I can't believe he used his hands to eat the roti jala. Well, I'm using my hands. This is great. I love the texture. Taste-wise, it is a wheat flour. It looks like it's got a little turmeric for color. The taste is kind of eggy. It's kind of coconutty, and it's very light. The lamb is tender. It has that slight gamey aftertaste that you like. Just sort of remind yourself that you're eating lamb and not beef. And then just a nice, moderately spicy curry mixture. Got that coriander, got that cumin. And this is cassia, which was just described to me as being cinnamon's, quote, big-ass cousin, which I think is an apt description. It gives it a slight spice that you would associate with like pumpkin or nutmeg. So this is the chili pan mee. Now, chili pan mee is a Malaysian Hakka-inspired dish. Hakka is an ethnic group of China. It is noodles, sambal, it looks like dried anchovies, a poached egg, onion, some shallots, and some kind of meat. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna guess this is ground pork, because Chinese people love pork. I'll tell you that much. There's also some sauce at the bottom of the noodles, which are under this masterpiece. I gotta say, this looks really good. The primary flavor that comes through is really the chili. You get that nice crunch from the shallots, a great, I'll say it one more time, umami flavor from those dried anchovies. Just a real earthy fishiness that's not overpowering. The bits of ground pork taste like they've been marinated in kind of like a sweet soy chili mixture. And then like what you have with something like a bibimbap, with an egg that you break over it and then you mix it all up, it kind of brings everything together. Another winner. This place is good. This is the nasi goreng. Nasi goreng is an Indonesian and Malaysian dish. The nasi goreng, I believe, literally just means fried rice. So it looks like it has some tofu, some scallions, fried shallots, and a big old fried egg on top. There's little that a runny yolk can't fix. This looks really good. The flavor that really comes through is, in Malaysia they use a particular kind of sweet soy sauce that I believe is flavored with like brown sugar. It's got these nice chunks of fried tofu, some greens, which is nice to get some complexity in there. Then that fried egg, breaking the yolk, tying it all together. I gotta say, I really enjoyed the food at this restaurant. You know, I did notice that the place is owned and operated by two people who are not Asian and who are not Malaysian, certainly, but who had visited there, loved the food, and wanted to bring it to Seattle. Now, this raises whole issues of like, quote unquote, Columbusing, pretending like you did something first, cultural appropriation, and things that many people, especially in the Asian community, are rightfully and very sensitive about. I think people should be allowed to eat and cook whatever they want to eat and cook. I think when you're dealing with certain populations of people and certain cuisines that have not traditionally gotten a lot of attention, where the people of those regions feel like traditionally they haven't had much of a voice, especially in the media industry, in the food world, I think you just have to be careful. And I think you have to be sensitive. But Can non-Vietnamese people cook Vietnamese food? Absolutely. And the same goes for French cuisine, Italian cuisine. I mean, you see some of the best food, at least in Los Angeles where I live, and most of the people in the kitchen are Latino. And that's just a fact. So it's ridiculous to say that you have to be of a certain ethnicity or race in order to enjoy, in order to be able to create, in order to have opinions about a certain kind of food. However, when they're not giving credit where credit is due, or where they're naming themselves an authority on a subject, when in fact there are other authorities on the subject, I think you have to make for those allowances. The food is really excellent. You know, these are two people, a couple, who fell in love with the food, and they're making it in Seattle where there aren't a lot of Malaysian restaurants. I mean, I looked. There's like 3. I do think people should be able to make what kind of food that they want. And I also think that the people to whom that food originally belonged should have a voice. I identify as Asian American, I'm half Chinese, and it's something I feel strongly about. And I think it's something that a lot of people feel strongly about from countries that have cuisines that have recently become quite popular in sort of the mainstream food media. On one hand, that attention is great. Who doesn't want a spotlight shown on Malaysian cuisine? On the other hand, you know, you also want to feel like if you were a Malaysian person, that you're also being recognized. End of sermon. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Dining on a Dime from Kedai Makan in Capitol Hill in Seattle, Washington. If you'd like to watch more, please click here. We are headed to the most famous fried chicken place in Seattle right now. It's called Ezel's Famous Chicken.